Okay, Montreal Canadiens versus Boston Bruins Game 7 highlights. This may have nothing to do with hockey, but our Minnesota Vikings article earlier today got 134 readers, and the Vikings team page mentioned Draft Utopia, which was pretty cool. You can go to draftutopia.com/minnesotavikings.html. There's no spaces, just spell the team name Minnesota Vikings, and you're there. But this is about the Canadians, the Bruins, Canada versus America. Got Game 7 at the TD Garden. Penalty killer Subban versus Zdeno Charizard. And what happened in the first period is Boston made some fundamental mistakes. Charizard got sent to the penalty box for roughing, and Dale Weese scored a goal due to careless defense. And the Montreal Canadiens aren't winning this game. Well, technically they are on the scoreboard, but the Boston Bruins are losing this game. They are playing that sluggishly. Defensive turnover, which sets up a Montreal goal. 7 giveaways in the first period, which is just flat out unacceptable. And you take into account that Chara got sent to the penalty box. You need to summon a bear, an evil bear, to the locker room. If you're Claude Julien, you need to summon an evil bear to invade the Bruins locker room during the first intermission. Or have an evil bear on a Zamboni to scare no. The fans did nothing wrong. As amusing as it would be to have a bear on a Zamboni, the fans pay for tickets. But I'm okay with an evil bear running around the Bruins locker room until Boston gets their act together. This first period at the TD Garden was an abomination. Keep up the good work, Carey Price. 2 more periods left. One thing I noticed in the second period was the Montreal Canadiens gained a 2-0 lead. Despite this, they are 0 for 3 on the power play. And the Bostons are 1 for 2 on the power play. I should just be like 1 for 2 for finger purposes, because it gets confusing with the fingers. So right hand towards the left, left hand towards the right. Reverse psychology. I'm just brainstorming some ways to make things more effective. But the Canadiens lead 2-1 after 2 periods. Boston's lone goal came on the power play against a potent penalty-killing unit. Apparently, penalty killer Subban and the Canadiens' penalty-killing unit was not mentally focused. 1 more period to go. Can the Montreal Canadiens clinch a date with the New York Power Rangers? Canada versus the Power Rangers for the rights to the Eastern Conference in the Labyrinth to Lord Stanley. Stay tuned. Nothing exciting happened in this third period. Boston continued to outshoot Montreal. Montreal only 18 shots on goal this game. Boston outshot them 29-18. And Carey Price was phenomenal except for the Boston power play goal. And that's not Carey's fault, because Boston was fortunate enough to score on the power play, but Montreal responded with a power play goal of their own, courtesy of Daniel Briere in the third period. And that'll do it. The Boston Bruins and the Pittsburgh Penguins, last year's finalists in the Eastern Conference Finals, have both been eliminated, which means it'll be the Montreal Canadiens versus the New York Rangers. Canada versus the Canada versus the Power Rangers to decide who will represent the Eastern Conference in the 2014 Stanley Cup playoffs. That's right, Canada has to face the Power Rangers, and ever since I called the New York Rangers the Power Rangers after they trailed 3-1 in the series, the New York Rangers are 3-0 in this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. So disrespecting the Rangers and calling them the Madison Square Garden Power Rangers must have motivated them, because the Rangers are 3-0 since I started calling them the Power Rangers. So I guess this plan to get the Penguins eliminated from the playoffs by motivating the Rangers and referring to them as the Power Rangers worked, because now it's Canada and it's the New York Rangers. So we already lost to Canada in the Winter Classic this year. So it's time for America to claim revenge on Canada when the Power Rangers win the Eastern Conference. Please don't do Power Rangers Canada references and die from laughter. I'm just telling you how it is. We've got Lundqvist and Carey Price, PK Subban and Mark Stahl. Two potent penalty-killing defenses. We could go on and break down the matchups, but because the Rangers are an American-based franchise, I think they'll end up winning the series in the Eastern Conference. The Power Rangers will take down Canada and avenge the USA hockey team that lost to Canada in the Winter Classic. And the New York Rangers will face the Chicago Blackhawks. And they just might dethrone Chicago. Too early to say, but I just think from a rating standpoint, Rangers versus Blackhawks gives you the best audience, and nothing would do the league better than to see the New York Rangers dethrone the Chicago Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup Finals after Chicago defeated the Flyers and the Bruins. That would be the best way for the Troll to get more ratings in the NHL. Excuse me if this rant has been longer than usual. It's just the third period, and there's a lot on my mind after Montreal's overwhelming upset. Chris Ransom, Draft Utopia.